One of the best parts about One Piece is how no matter how dire the situation becomes, no matter how grim or how evil the villain or how whatever have you, the situation can still have some comedy in it. And I find that very interesting given that we are in the final arc of the saga. We've seen things like the Five Elders in their monster forms, and we've seen, what happened to Saturn, considering, in order for Garling's, promotion. But there's still room for comedy in all this. That being said, hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1140, Scopper Gaban. The arc this week continues Yamato's pilgrimage as we see that, me and everybody else in the world was right. Ulti and Page 1 are probably the ones that got captured. We only see Ulti here, but she got basically put on a dartboard and Who's Who is throwing knives at her. There's a couple spots where he has hit her, so she is bleeding. I'm going to guess the goal of the game is to get as close as you can without hurting, but still, it's okay to hurt them because that's part of the victimization. But she does say, if you hurt Pepe, I will go to hell and beat you senseless after you die. So, that's fair. My guess is Yamato's probably going to save them, and who knows, maybe Ulti and Page 1 do actually become pupils of Yamato. This might be the first step towards getting her own band of Odin fans. But that's pretty much it for this. Now we move on to the actual chapter itself, where we have Scopper Gaban staring down Luffy and saying, hey, if you want this key, you're going to have to fight me for it. And at first, Luffy's kind of against that. Luffy doesn't really want to fight an old man, and he gets ready to, hop down and just take the key, because, it's Luffy. It's not really that hard to do. So Luffy stretches over, and Scopper Gaban dodges him. So Luffy, naturally, stretches out multiple times as fast as he can, and is completely dodged again. Obviously, getting frustrated at this, Luffy, tries to go again, but this time, Gaban takes the key, coats it in Haki. You see the little crackles that imply Conqueror's Haki, and he slams Luffy into the ground with the key. Now, this does imply Scopper has Conqueror's Haki. I don't want to say it right out front. Most likely, yes. If he's one of the wings of the Pirate King, if he stood shoulder to shoulder with Rayleigh, they probably both have it. Still, very cool. But Luffy obviously gets right back up, and Gaban's like, that straw hat on your back looks pretty cool. I bet it would look better on you than that helmet does. And Luffy goes, of course it would. This is a gift from Shanks. He gave it to me, and I'm going to give it back to him when I'm a great pirate. And so Gaban says, really? He didn't just give it to you? He actually has a stipulation in which he gets it back? What a cheapskate. Like, man, just buy a new straw hat. And, of course, any insult to Shanks immediately elicits a reaction of violence from Luffy. Luffy tries to fight him. He gets mad. He yells at him. He said, hey, don't talk that way about Shanks. Scopper literally stabs the key into Luffy's throat, like just through his mouth, and says, hey, don't talk with your mouth full. You're a very chatty boy. At this point, with the key in Luffy's mouth, Gaban now needs a new weapon. So, of course, he pulls out his two axes, and we get this moment where Zoro's like, wait, because he has this little moment where, I don't know, in Zoro it clicks. Two axes. Mountain Eater. Oh wait, no, he didn't hear the legend of the Mountain Eater. Nah, he just knows this guy is dangerous. So Scopper just starts sending flying slashes towards Luffy left and right. Zoro blocks all of them. And I like this little inner thought that Gaban has. He's like, huh, that kid's got a good crew. I like that. Luffy then goes Gear 5th. Zoro coats his swords in Haki, and the two of them stare him down in this very nice Dawn moment that I'm hoping gets put on a Dawn card in the One Piece card game later. But Luffy's like, let's go, Zoro. And Zoro's like, okay. And they... I mean, come on. Kaido had to take these two on together. Imagine anyone staring this down that isn't a legendary pirate. Even Gaban's like, oh, that's a pretty nice combo. I quit. He just drops his axes. It's funny. They're both like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm done. That was fun. Key's right behind you, by the way. Luffy looks. Oh, well, thanks. He's like, yeah, you're welcome. By the way, and he said, let me see, I wrote this down. Yeah, if Elbaf is still intact when you guys are done here, come see me. And he starts walking away. And Luffy's like, as if I would never want to see you again. You're a rude old man. And Zoro's like, yeah, thanks for the key, I guess, but you're still a jerk. No, we don't want to see you again. And Rhodes like, you guys don't understand. Mr. Ya is, and Mr. Ya goes, hey, don't tell them things. You have a good day. He walks away. So we get this brief flashback of Scopper talking to Shanks and saying, do you really think I'm just going to trust Luffy because you say I should trust him? And Shanks is like, you're right. Just, do as you please, I guess. But I just wanted to let you know he's a good kid, and he leaves. And so, obviously, at 4 seconds into meeting Luffy, you can tell he's a good guy, unless, of course, you are not the person who gave Luffy a sandwich, in which case you may be in some form of danger upon meeting him. Speaking of people in danger, the children of Elbaf are in danger, as they look into the sky and they say, Teacher, Miss Ange, there's a weird bird in the sky. And she's like, what are you guys talking about? You see birds all the time. And they're like, yeah, but this one's weird. And I don't know if she actually sees the bird or if she misses it, but the bird is the arrow bird thing that Gunko made earlier. They find a nice spot to land just outside of the children's site of view, I guess. Maybe it's up in a tree, maybe it's down on the ground. I can't really remember. Hang on, I'm going to check the panel real quick just so Okay, so yes, they are in the tree, but the tree is so large that it looks like they're on the ground because it's Elbaf. And as I said before, size proportions are going to be a very hard thing to understand while we're here. So, Gunko opens up the, black circle. She, does the whole summoning ritual thing, whatever. And we are introduced to the 2 imposing God's Knights that are going to be showing up. I know. Last chapter we said 1. We're getting 2. We are getting Saint Killingham of the... Hang on, let me look it up. Okay, we are getting Saint Killingham of the Remo Shifu family. But more importantly, we're getting Sommers of the Shepherd family. Now, just to remind you, a member of the Shepherd family has actually already been revealed, Jew Peter. So that means that there are more members of these families, and it's potential that other God's Knights are related to other elders. In fact, it's entirely possible that there may be a God's Knight that was once related to Saturn, even though Saturn is no more. Which is interesting because if Saturn is 200 years old, how old are the other elders? Does Sommers know that Jupiter is his distant ancestor? Or I guess the question is, how much info are the God's Knights privy to? Anyways, the 2 God's Knights that got summoned were summoned mid-conversations. We see Killingham, sorry. Killingham is sort of in the middle of running as he's, being brought out of the summoning circle, and he's just like, whoa, how'd I get here? Sommers was still in his living room. He's literally summoned, sitting on a couch in his briefs. Just sitting there like, yeah, okay, I understand. Yeah, I'll be over there soon. The real question is, I don't fully understand why we're both being summoned if it's not that big of a task. And, hello? And he's tapping on his snail. He's like, I thought these things are psychic. Am I out of range? How did I get out of range? And why am I in the middle of a tree? To which both of them have this comedic look on their faces when being told they're in Elbaf. We also see, I'm not sure who this is in response to, because Killingham is kind of adorable, I'm not going to lie. He's a very cute-looking dragon thing. And Sommers isn't wearing any pants. This is interesting, though. Gunko blushes, and then in the very next panel, she turns away from them. Depending on who this is in response to, changes who I want to see her interact with. If it is in response to Killingham and being like, oh, he's like such an adorable dragon, I have to look away, he's so cute. I want to see her response to Chopper. The more likely scenario is that she is in response to Somers being pantsless, and she blushed and looked away because it's a guy with no pants on. In which case, I want to see her respond to Frankie. Either way, Gunko, who I thought was this serious murder hobo, did something comedic. Somers and Killingham, responding to being on Elbaf, did something comedic. I honestly thought that the God's Knights were all going to be serious, dangerous individuals. But it seems we have more of a CP9 scenario on our hands, where you have, Rob Lucci, who is the serious, no-nonsense, very dangerous individual, like, Viggerland here. But the rest of the individuals in the group are still super dangerous. Kaku, Kumadori, Jabra, they're all still super dangerous individuals, but there's still comedy involved. In looking back in all seriousness, look at Queen from the Beast Pirates, look at literally any member of Big Mom's crew aside from Katakuri. Just look at their designs in general, except you, Smoothie. But if you look around, I guess I really shouldn't have thought that the God's Knights were all going to be serious, because comedy is all over One Piece. I don't know. For some reason, I thought they were going to be different. I'm relieved that they aren't different, now that I'm really sitting down and thinking about it out loud. But I really thought they were going to be. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. The reason we are getting 2 God's Knights, and is actually the same reason Shamrock is asking. He's like, wait, we summoned 2 guys. We were only supposed to summon 1. Killingham lets him know, that's because you're going back, sir. You have to go back. He's like, really? Me? That sucks. And Somers is like, yeah. Turns out the situation in Maryjois is dire. Things are getting really bad. And we need you back, sir. You're the guy that can probably make things go all right. What this probably means is that the situation is going out of hand because whatever it was Blackbeard was planning is being put into action. Because the starvation is one thing. The loss of the heavenly tribute is one thing. But if Maryjois is being actively attacked by the Blackbeard pirates, you may need the best of the God's Knights on your hands. Now, I don't think the situation is dire as in, all hands on deck. Otherwise, why would Gunko, Somers, and Killingham be here instead of also being summoned home? But anyways, Shamrock is going to debrief them on what they need to do before they go. So, they're looking down from the tree. They look down at the children, and Somers is like, so, I think I understand. We need to kidnap the children and take them back to Maryjois. Killingham's like, yeah, that's going to be a little difficult considering they're giants, and they are not very easy to put in a burlap sack. And more importantly, we're going to have to put them on a boat because they don't have the mark of teleportation on them. And that means... And then he falls asleep. So, prone to narcolepsy. Again, another comedic trait. But the mark of teleportation, or I don't remember exactly how it's named, but the mark that is on Somers' arm when he is pantsless might be the mark that we're referring to. So, I guess what this means is when you become a God's Knight, or when you become one of the 5 elders maybe, you get this mark on you that allows you to be summoned through this dark power. So either this ability comes from Emu's Devil Fruit, or it's just an ability that the God's Knights share amongst themselves, which implies that to some extent magic might actually be real in One Piece, in which case I'm going to have to change my rules for my One Piece D&D campaign because I said no magic allowed because magic's not in One Piece, but if magic is in One Piece, I'll worry about that later. Anyways, what's interesting though is that mark. And who has it? Who doesn't have it? Every character we've seen so far that is associated with the five elders with the God's Knights, what have you, we've only ever seen one person with a mark on their body. That's Sommers. He has it on his left elbow. Do they all have it on their left elbow? Do they all have it in different locations? No. Okay, no, it can't all be on their left elbows because we've seen Venus, the Samurai Gandhi. We've seen him with his arms exposed, and we haven't seen anything on. Although, hang on, I'm going to check a picture of him real quick. No, I rescind that previous statement. Actually, every time we've seen him, his arm has been concealed by his robe. So, it is possible that they all have the mark on their left arm. Which means, maybe, is it a birthmark? No, that can't be it. But then, okay, I will say, if a second member of the God's Knights has that same mark on their elbow, on their left arm, maybe that's a reason Shanks doesn't have a left arm. I doubt that. I do love the theory that Shanks lost his arm so that he doesn't look like Garling, or not Garling, so that he doesn't look like Shamrock. I believe that theory, but that's too no, that one. Okay. Anyways, so what do we got from this? The children are in danger. The God's Knights can be summoned whether they want to be or not. And Luffy has the key to freeing Loki, who swore vengeance on the God's Knights. And is in pretty critical condition, which means Luffy will be more than happy to help Loki get his revenge, because Luffy seems to have already decided Loki's a cool guy. This could be very interesting. But hey, let me know in the comments below what you think of our two new God's Knights. I think there's going to be 10 total. So we've seen 4. There's still 6 more to go. And one of them's a dragon. I don't know if he ate a devil fruit or if he just looks like that because it's One Piece. I'm hoping it's a devil fruit. It could also be a mythical zone similar to Kaido's. Maybe a weaker version. Or maybe I don't know, he just born like that. Regardless though, thank you for watching as always. And I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.